Hi, everybody, and welcome back to 10-Minute Strategy. My name is Peter Propp. I'm with Knock Media. And today on 10-Minute Strategy, we have Rocky Motwani. He is the co-founder and CEO of Cyphlens, a new player in the area of cybersecurity. And we're really excited to hear what Rocky is going to talk about today. So, Rocky, let's just get right started. Please describe Cyphlens and the problem that you're solving.
Sure, Peter. First, thanks for having me here. I've watched a lot of the episodes. I've always enjoyed them. So hopefully your audience will find this as interesting as we believe it to be.
Sure.
So Cyphlens is a fundamentally new capability that is aimed to help in a cybersecurity war, right? So as in a zero trust world with these new emerging threats, Cyphlens is basically delivering something fundamentally new. The problem we're solving is pretty simple, right? If I show you this little picture, and I'll share my screen real quick. These are the attacks in the last 3 months, right? You see every major company, even some of the biggest ones in security like Okta, have all been compromised and have lost either financially or lost our data, right? 23andMe is on this picture, and 23andMe lost, I think it was something like 7 million customer records that included their genetic data. And the question that I sat back and started thinking about is why are we spending all this money, and CISOs and CTOs are spending all this cash and all this capital in a war that we seem to be losing? And look, part of that's just the nature of the beast, right? Cyber is a pretty complicated sphere, and the attackers are not, small guys or state-sponsored folks now. But can we start doing something different, something fundamentally new beyond just the next training and the next, cyber defense, right? And that's what we built Cyphlens. It's a new capability, and that's what we're here to deliver.
So what's the difference between Cyphlens and two-factor authentication? As we've discussed, it seems like two-factor, especially connected with mobile, is starting to get into more of the center of what people are doing. I've got several apps that do that for different accounts that I need to get into, but where are you when you relate to two-factor?
Let's talk about two-factor, and then we can talk about the stuff that we do that no two-factor solution in the market can do, right? But two-factor, look, I would just start with a terrible experience, right? So, again, I'll show my screen. Let me just show you my phone real quick here, right? This is your phone that you're looking on screen. This is my two-factor life. So I'll move it over for you so you can see it right in the middle. My two-factor life is this normally. I'll go to Authy, and I got a bunch of these codes. I can scroll through 20 different accounts, then I got to read the number, copy the number, right? It's a terrible user experience. In addition to that, most two-factor fails on a couple of key dimensions from a cybersecurity perspective. It's usually not SIM swap resilient, it's not man-in-the-middle resilient, and it's not phishing resistant. So let's maybe talk about each of those for 30 seconds without going too technical. What's the SIM swap? In 2017, somebody went into an AT&T store, paid the AT&T customer service rep $500 to $1,000 and stole my phone number. True story. For the next hour, I was without access to my phone number until I could go over to the AT&T store and scream like heck until they were to give it back to me, right? And then said, oh my God, oopsies, we made a mistake. We weren't supposed to do that. We don't know why somebody would have changed your phone number for this moment. In the next 30 minutes, though, or the hour that I didn't have the number, the hacker basically compromised virtually all my accounts. Gmail, Dropbox, Evernote, and there was nobody to call. I never recovered some of those accounts. It was a pretty devastating impact for anybody who's ever been SIM swapped. By the way, it still happens today. For $1,500, somebody can walk into a store and own your phone number. And while they're doing that, they'll receive all your OTP codes, right? Any text message with an OTP code, they're going to receive it. The second thing, phishing resistant. You have an OTP code, or an authenticator. If I call you up and ask you for the 6 digits, you're going to give it to me. You don't know who I am, right? You're going to think that I'm calling from the bank or the client service team or whatever it is, but you're going to give it to me. So it's not really resistant to phishing attacks, right? And there's a whole number of types of attacks we can talk about. The third thing is the more advanced stuff, which is man in the middle. Right now, there could be a hacker who's in our browser, right? It may not even be me that's on the phone with you, right? But basically, these attacks are where somebody's in the middle, in between us, and they're manipulating what we see on screen. And Cyphlens is fundamentally man-in-the-middle attack resilient. But I want to show you the product, right? Because I think where we really shine is showing people the product, and because that makes people understand it. So here is my phone again. Let me share my screen, sorry.
Sure, yeah.
I see my screen. Maybe I'll close this out so you can kind of see. I'll just close. Ooh. Sorry, bear with me. I'll shut this. This will count out our 10 minutes. There's my phone. At the bottom of my phone is the Cyphlens app, the little squiggly lines. By the way, this is usually embedded in other people's apps, so you don't even see our app. But I'm going to open up Cyphlens, and here's what you're going to see. It's the camera. That's all it is. If you know how to use your camera, you're fully trained in Cyphlens. So I made a little login screen. Imagine here we're at Acme Corp. Maybe it's the bank, maybe it's Knock Media, whatever website you guys are building for people that you want to log in. I'm just going to provide my email address. I'll use my generic one, secure cipher. This one should work at gmail.com. Notice I've only provided my email address, no password, nothing else. Simply based on this email address, Acme Corp is going to generate an encrypted image. Only Acme Corp could generate this image. Only me with this physical iPhone can actually see what the image is. So I'm going to open up my Cyphlens app. I'm going to hold it up to the image, and it decrypts. By the way, you want to see that again? I take the phone away, it's gone. Hold it up, it decrypts. Only Acme Corp could create it. Only I could decrypt it. That's mutual authentication. There's a data layer. I can see the URL on the image that I'm supposed to be on. This is acme.cyphlens.com. I can compare that to this URL and know that I'm now phishing resistant. By the way, it's man-in-the-middle attack resilient. I can include data inside this whole thing, an account number or something else that no one could ever manipulate, and I can confirm it. But look, it's as simple as this. I just swipe right. That's it. No 6-digit code, no scrolling through 30 things. Just look at an image, decrypt it, and it's SIM swap resilient, man-in-the-middle attack resilient, and phishing resistant.
So this is before the password sign-in?
That's something that we can do that no one else can do. So before you even enter your password, you basically do the two-factor challenge. And by the way, if you can't create the image or pass the challenge, you can't be credential phished, right? There's no password.
Right. Once the password's been accepted, they're already in the system, right? So.
Game over. So one of the attacks, like let me to kind of tell you more about how we think about Cyphlens. Let's take the MGM attack. The MGM attack was one of the biggest attacks of the year. It was by a group called Scattered Spider. They always have these really kind of cool names, right? I wish we could use some of these names. But Scattered Spider attacked MGM, and the attack was pretty simple, right? They used basically two techniques. They used social engineering, and they used ransomware as a service. The social engineering is they called up the help desk of MGM and pretended to be an employee.
Right.
And during that interaction, they basically convinced them that they were the employee and they should turn off two-factors, a whole bunch of stuff back and forth. We don't know all the details, but we know kind of the crux of how it happened. And they basically were able to bypass or get the two-factor turned off, right? And at that moment, then they used ransom. And by the way, the reason they could do it, the thing about Scattered Spider is they all speak English. So unlike a lot of the other hackers, this is an natively English speaker, so they sound like they're next door here for the American companies. And it caused a big attack. Then they deployed a ransomware. They bought the ransomware online, right? And from Alpha V or I think it was Black Cat, right? But how did Cyphlens solve something like that, right? So first of all, you could take our product and deploy it in a customer service organization, where imagine it's two-way. It's not just the person who is calling, but even the customer service rep has to be validated, because you take this image, this encrypted image, and both sides need to be able to decrypt it.
Right.
And so you've got a fundamentally unique and different way for a customer service rep and an employee to actually engage with each other around an encrypted image that we can mutually authenticate each other. That's something that we can do that a simple 6-digit code could never do.
Right. That's awesome. So we're about to hear the buzzer. We'll do one more question, which was, if you mentioned CISOs and CTOs, and I know you've had that role. So today's CISO, CTO, what are the 3 top considerations for them as they're trying to build a robust and secure environment?
Look, I think obviously there's all the buzzwords around AI and things like that everyone's thinking about. But when I think about a CISO or CTO, and I wasn't one, right? I'm dangerous enough to sound like one, but actually I've got a team of really smart people who help build all this. Where do you spend your next dollar, right? Everybody's spending more money on cybersecurity. They're spending it to protect their assets, to detect threats, to identify their assets, to catalog them, et cetera. But we're spending on all the same stuff. I think about, can you bring a new capability to bear? A new armament in your toolkit, right? And that's what we think about Cyphlens. So if you want to fundamentally bring something new to the fight, bring something like Cyphlens. If you want to bring more of the same, we think, sure, you can invest in more training, more threat detection, right? Which you have to do for maintenance, but are you bringing anything new to the fight, right? And that's where for CTOs and CISOs, What we talk about is bring a new capability to the fight, something the attackers have not seen, and layer that in, right, on top of what you built, and you'll get an exponential impact in terms of your overall security posture.
Excellent. Well, that's a great understanding, and certainly I've learned a lot about this world of security and where it's going. Really appreciate it. Maybe we can have you back as things progress, and you'll probably have some interesting case studies over the next month if you can divulge them. Thanks so much, Rocky, for your time, and hope you have a great weekend.
Great. Thank you, Peter. Really appreciate it. Talk soon.
Take care.